what trends do you see in the payment that will reshape the future?
We see about 125 billion transactions from 3 billion cards in 210 countries and territories. So for me as a consumer, or you as a consumer, you should own your data. And when you share it, you should benefit from it.
What role is data and service play in Mastercard, and how it collaborates with the rest of the company?
The services businesses are growing very fast, and we are aspiring to have it be half of Mastercard in terms of our revenues.
Actually, after more than 1 decade of rapid advancement, the competitions to retain customer is the new normal.
So I think competition is a very good thing. It makes us more innovative. It makes us evolve our products and services. Consumers get used to things in one industry and expect it in another industry.
如果你想找人聊聊数字化 AI 这样的话题，那除了科技行业的大佬，银行业的高管或许是最合适的人选。一项关于 AI 在各行业中提及率的数据显示，银行业排名第2，仅次于科技行业。实际上 ，FinTech 早已成为银行业的热门关键词。上市银行的含 AI 率是银行业关注的焦点话题之一。在这样一个深受科技浪潮影响的行业里，各大银行金融组织如何推进自身的变革？经营与管理的思路发生了哪些变化？企业该以怎样的姿态迎接 AI 时代？那么今天我们就请到万事达卡数据和服务总裁 Raj 和我们一起聊一聊这些话题。What role is data and service play in Mastercard, and how it collaborates with the rest of the company?
Yeah, data and services broadly, which also includes cybersecurity. Our services business is very important to Mastercard, and there are 4 reasons why. The first is growth. The services businesses are growing very fast, and we are aspiring to have it be half of Mastercard in terms of our revenues. And the reason for the high growth is because it reinforces payments. As payments grow, services grow. As services grow, payments grow. So it's a nice cycle. So that's the first reason, growth. The second reason is differentiation. So we work with our partners to help them come up with good value propositions, acquire customers, make them more active, more engaged, retain them, drive loyalty, reduce fraud, increase authorization, optimize the portfolio. So in that way, we work very closely with our customers in the services business, and it really differentiates payments and helps us grow payments disproportionately and in the right way. The third reason is diversification. Now, if differentiation is more working with banks, diversification is taking our services and thinking about both other parts of the bank beyond the payments business, and more importantly, other types of players in the economy. So retail and commerce players, governments, fintechs, neobanks, really diversifying what Mastercard does beyond banks into all these other industry verticals and into use cases that go beyond payments. And then the fourth and probably the most important reason is talent. 1/3 of the people joining Mastercard join through data and services. And they join in many, many different locations, including here in China. And as they grow in their careers, they develop and seed the rest of Mastercard, and they lead the rest of Mastercard. So talent is the other reason. Now, as I describe these services and the reason why we're in services, the most important thing is that for us, we're a B2B2C company. So we really focus on our partners and help them drive smarter decisions for better outcomes, both in how they run their businesses and how they engage with their consumers.
And as a leading technology company in the payment industry, so what trends do you see in the payment that will reshape the future?
Yes, we see, yes, you're right. We have global scale in our network. Just to give you a few facts, we see about 125 billion transactions from 3 billion cards in 210 countries and territories. So we see a lot of data, and we couple it with hundreds of sources around the globe and tease out insights. So we use a lot of AI and analytics and machine learning in everything that we do in our services. So as an example, we stopped about $35 billion of fraud globally over 3 years. But as we deploy all this AI, what is important to note is that we do it in a way that is being ethical and principled is important. Because as you deploy AI, you've got to make sure that it has no unintended consequences. It doesn't have any biases, that you're not putting any information you're not supposed to put out there, in the public domain, that you're not violating any intellectual property rights in whatever jurisdiction you're operating in around the globe.
Do you believe that AI is the most likely technological transformation that will profoundly affect the growth of the industry?
I think AI is already all around us, like I was saying. That'll help us do things that are better, to create offers for consumers that are better, to help target them in the right way. Key thing is to say, how can it do that while we still abide by all the principles that we have? So for me as a consumer, or you as a consumer, you should own your data. You should decide who to share it with, and when you share it, you should benefit from it. And whoever you share it with should keep it secure and private and safe. And so we fundamentally believe that, whether it's in AI, whether it's in data, whether it's in privacy and security, it's really important to be principled and disciplined about it. Of course, comply with all regulation, but also have a higher standard, right?
We all know that data is changing. How does DNS help customers in different areas achieve their growth goals?
So DNS, it depends what you mean by customers. So we work with companies, banks, retailers, airlines, governments, fintechs, neobanks. Those are customers. Yes, so it's customer facing to those customers, and we help them with their businesses and help them engage with their customers, which are often consumers or small businesses or companies. Sometimes they themselves serve companies. So in that B2B2C world, we focus on the middle B, and yes, we focus on those customers and drive revenue for Mastercard. So let me give you the example of, we were talking about digital transformation before. An example of a bank here in Asia Pacific that was doing a lot of its customer acquisition, largely through physical branch networks. And they wanted to digitize the business and move towards digital acquisition. So we worked with them to transform their acquisition process and make it much more digital. And as a result of what we did, the impact was that the clicks on their websites went up 100%. The leads went up by something like 47%. The applications for the product went up by 31%. And then the actual product in the hands of customers went up 8%. Those are big numbers. And that was a digital transformation that we supported. And the bank was much better off and doing much better in terms of its revenue with this transformed digital acquisition process.
As we mentioned, in this age of AIGC, how should professionals learn and build their core competencies?
Now, that's a very good question. So our team, our data and services team, is global. I think we're in many different locations. We speak something like 70 plus languages. We come from 70 or 80 nationalities. It's really global. But it's also diverse in that we have a lot of different skill sets. We have data scientists, we have marketers, we have consultants, we have product specialists, we have product managers, we have engineers, right? The learning comes from learning from each other, because when you have different perspectives, different skill sets, different cultures in the room, you can learn a lot more. It comes from, I always call it lifelong learning. It comes from studying the market, studying trends, keeping an eye on insights, and really understanding where's the world going to, what is changing.
Actually, after more than 1 decade of rapid advancement, the domestic banking industry has now moved beyond structural economic growth. The competitions to retain customer is the new normal. So in that context, what mindset should banks adopt to formulate growth strategy?
Yeah, so what I'll start by saying is, as you penetrate a market, competition becomes more important. But competition makes us better. It makes us more innovative. It makes us evolve our products and services to meet consumer needs, to meet them in new ways. And competition also, you learn from other industries. Consumers get used to things in one industry and expect it in another industry. So I think competition is a very good thing. But as you look at the world, there are two ways in which the pie grows. One, the pie can grow just getting bigger and bigger, right? And that could come as a market gets penetrated or as you acquire more customers. The other way is to shift the share in the pie. So, to make your customers do more with you, to have them have longer lifetime values, to be with you for longer, to retain them. And I think as competition grows and as markets mature, it becomes more difficult to grow the pie. Acquiring customers is much more difficult. Of course, we all need to do that, but a shift in focus or balance towards driving consumer engagement, driving consumer loyalty, focusing on lifetime value, being able to create the offers that a consumer wants, being able to deliver it in a personalized way, meeting them where they are as opposed to having them come to you, being able to engage with them in a way that's productive for them and value adding for them, creating loyalty. That's how you drive greater revenue from a customer today, a longer lifetime for the customer, and therefore a longer lifetime value for the customer. So that shift is very important to make, and I think it's healthy for industries to have to do that.
So we just mentioned loyalty. This loyalty is different from what we usually know as brand loyalty or things like that. So why is this loyalty so important to the banks?
Yeah, it's important because it enhances the brand, first of all. But more importantly, as it enhances the brand, it deepens the relationship with the consumer. So the consumer is able to think about the bank differently. So you don't just react to the consumer when they show up for a product you provided to them, but to be proactive, to really understand what the consumer might want and offer it to them. And that could be a product, it could be loyalty, it could be transparency, to say, if you do this, you will earn more points or you'll earn more rewards. Or if you do it in this way, you can spend your rewards and get more. So that level of transparency, that level of proactivity can evolve the business to really go from being reactive to being proactive. And that accrues to the consumer doing more with you. And that accrues to your business. And at the end of the day, your brand, because they think of you in a better light.